get rid of the chief white supremacist, like, and that is, Donald Trump, and thank God it's his last day.
We're within 24 hours
Yes,
right
within
now.
24
We're
hours,
within
right?
24 hours.
And call it like it is. I mean, so now at the same time, this is gonna be a challenge, of course. Like, everybody doesn't believe that, everybody don't acknowledge that, accept that, whatever, right? But at least she said it, right? And she's not hiding. She's not scared to speak on what's true, right? Or on how her district is showing up, right? And I think that's another key part, right? Because while she might be representing her district, St. Louis City, St. Louis North County, we're not clear on the rest of Missouri. So that's what I am concerned about. Who's leading the discussions and conversations throughout the rest of Missouri? Because the Missouri and Missouri might still be rocking with Hawley, and that might show up, in one capacity or another. So
now, Chris, we talked about this a lot last week. But as we noted at the head of the show, we didn't get a chance to get your insights into this. So we wanna get them now, man. Josh Hawley, and go.
I mean, I just think that real quick, I think that Josh Hawley decided to take a ride down a road where it was too late to turn around. It was too late to pull back. So, I mean, I think that he knows that he went too far, but I think that he has to ride this road out, just in terms to of his action in this. So, I mean, that's it basically. I mean, yeah, it's disappointing to have him as a representative of our state. I was highly disappointed in his actions and what he said and what he did, but it comes with politics, man. That's why it's good and bad, I guess.
That was what I'll say is that, and I just have to think back to what I remember from politics throughout my life in general. That was one of the riskiest plays that probably at the moment when you're getting that advice and you're thinking about it and you're committing yourself to that path, you felt was going to work out. I don't know if I've ever seen a decision outside of even just politics, it doesn't even matter, turn around that quick on somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about the matter of about 20 minutes. That went from being a great idea, whether you agree with it or not, whether you agree with the reasoning or why he did it or not, to becoming one of the worst decisions I've ever seen somebody make professionally in my life.
Yeah, no. And one of my coworkers, he was talking about this all week. He was just saying it was funny that Josh Hawley went to the Yale School of Law, and he don't really. I mean, he must not know how to practice law, because he was saying that him losing his book deal was a violation of his First Amendment. Look, I'm not a lawyer, but I know that that's clear. That's not a case. I mean, that's not that's a terrible comparison and thing to try to break down.
Let me ask you this though. Do you think that, knowing the political climate that we're in right now, is that so my theory is that there's a formula that if something doesn't go in your favor, you can say what it is, that you don't like it, and then just cite some roughly associated amendment, piece of the Constitution, Bill of Rights, the menu at Chili's, whatever. You can reference something else and say it's a violation of that, and you can fire up a bunch of people that aren't really worried about if it's true or not.
Yeah, because some people.
That was working.
Yeah, no, that's usually how it is. But like I said, I think that some people, they get to Washington and get out of touch with their constituents and where they're from. I think that Josh Hawley got to Washington and jumped on the Trump train too quick, and I mean, really forgot about all of his constituents. But then again, I mean, Missouri is a weird place. I think Marco always used a comparison to Missouri or Missouri, and I think that Missouri may have supported his actions. Now here locally, where we live, nah, we gonna write it on the street and resign. We gonna go crazy. But right. I think that in his part of town, where where a majority of his votes come from, they applaud that.
So, and that's what I'm concerned about,
Quietly
right?
though, quietly.
Right. And that's what I'm concerned about. Like Josh Hawley. So Trump, like he didn't jump on the train. Like he was already on the train. Like Trump was coming and doing fundraisers with him to win to be able to defeat Claire McCaskill. And in
Right.
that the same primary and the same election that Josh Hawley won, that same election that Josh Hawley won, Missouri said, yes, we want medical marijuana. Yes, we want an increase in minimum wage. Yes, we want democracy reform. And yeah, we want Josh Hawley too. And Josh Hawley was against all three of those things. This is the issue. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, I don't know if this was a death blow for him because he still has that base, right? And I know there are grassroots organizations, including the one I work with, who are having race class narrative transformative conversations throughout the state. And what we found is that some people, again, that media diet, I talk about it all the time. When it's crazy, even when Fox News was saying, yo, Josh Hawley went too far, right? And at the same time, that like the fact that when they're talking about the insurrection, they're talking about the failed coup, they still talk about it in a sense of these people did something brave. These people they're patriots. Like, no, like, and the fact that Josh Hawley was still saying going against the election results. This is why this is why Representative Cori Bush said, like, you're going against democracy now. This is not about Republican or Democrat. This is about democracy. Even Trump appointed judges said, man, get that case out of here. And they still was like, nah, they lying. Like, so that's disrespectful to the lawyers, to the judges, to the taxpayers. That's, to me, that's the ultimate disrespect that is coming to all these challenges. And states verified these election results, and they still saying nah just because our person didn't win. So that's frustrating. And again, because somebody died, I thought that would have been also something different too, right? A white woman got killed. They still was like, and a police officer got killed. They're like, and
So
that's concerning.
And the point, all right, so I'm glad that you said that, Marco, because there's two things I wanted to get y'all opinions on as well. I want to go back to another thing that happened around Congresswoman Bush's statement saying that, you know, I want to give credit to Catherine Clark, who spoke up in the same way as that. And Catherine Clark, who spoke on the floor into the same tone as Cori Bush did, saying that she didn't get booed, however. You know, she wasn't booed for condemning white supremacy in the same way that Cori Bush did. Now, perhaps maybe she didn't do it to the same tone. We all know that there's very few, if anything, in the universe that can get his point across like a black woman. But and she absolutely did it. And I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to say this with all the love in the world. When Cori Bush went on the floor and said what she said, I got the vibes I haven't gotten in an environment that I didn't expect to see them, like since 3 6 Mafia won that Oscar. I was like, this isn't what I'm used to seeing at this, but this is incredible. This is great. More of this, please, please, please. I want more of this. But Marco, to your point, the divide is clear, you know, but it's clear, however, it's not. And this is one of the things I'm really interested in is the Republican Party right now. And I really need to, one of the things I really have been disappointed in this pandemic is that I haven't had the opportunity to talk to as many people unless I seek them out. So I haven't had as many conversations with people that I would just come across that maybe don't see things the exact same way I do. But the Republican Party, maybe this is a true or false, one of those yes or no questions like you had on the debates. It's two different things for sure now.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely two different elements now. And the fact, one, we already hearing that people are saying, oh, like, oh, we're starting a new party. Or they got a term now. They call it Rhino, RINO, Republican in name only. Like people are saying, like, oh, you're a Rhino. Like they are literally they going at it. But even locally, we talked about it before. We still got the Greiten camp versus the current governor camp. You know, like we still got those two Republican camps still going at each other, even locally. I don't know where Josh Hawley falls in that. You know, I don't know if he with Parsons or Greitens. I don't even know. right? But we are seeing that happen. And
I
yeah,
would say Josh Hawley falls whichever one of those camps he thinks he can capitalize on at the moment. Chameleon. He's a chameleon. He's gonna go with whoever it is that's with him in that moment. Because Greitens and Parsons are two very different things.
right,
But I tell you
right.
what, one of the things that I saw that was really just like, wow, these are some interesting times, was when Danforth stepped up and said,
Yeah,
"This is the biggest mistake I made."
that was major. Like, so Chris, like, let me ask you that, Chris. Like, how major, how like, or maybe it's major, it was major to me. How major is it for like somebody who was a well-loved senator or a well-loved rep come up and actually say, this person needs to sit down? Like, what does that have an impact or?
I mean, it depends on who it is. I think somebody with the reach of Danforth, that's huge. And then Danforth, I think, was like a mentor of his too, which makes it even more personal, and it makes it more worse for Hawley, because I mean, I'm pretty sure that's going to impact him. Just going even further with just in terms of donors too. I heard that his number one donor backed off of him too. And so I